stay. Okay, let's go. Down. Stay. Okay. Place. Stay. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good. Okay, Bella, come. Thank you. Good job. Good job, sweetheart. Good girl. Okay. Bella, come. Thank you. Very good. Good girl. Okay. Okay. Oh, now. Good sit. No. Bella, come. Very good girl. Okay. Hi, this is Ashley from Top Dog Training and Resort. We just showed you everything that Bella's learned how to do. Now I'm going to show you how to give each command properly and then go about correcting her if she chooses not to obey the first time you ask, or if she does something that we're trying to get her to do less often, like jump up on people. So first I want to say that there are two parts to the commands. First, the commands are just sit, and then the hand signal that goes with it. So for sit, it's going to be palm up towards the ceiling. There's also going to be a release word after each command that frees her up to do what she wants until you tell her what to do next. And that word's going to be okay. So after each command, before you go on to the next one, we say okay, that releases her, and then you tell her what you want next. So you make sure when you go to give her a command that you're going to face her, you're going to stand right in front of her, demanding her attention, make sure she's focused, and then she's going to be much quicker to respond to what you're going to say. So we're going to say the verbal. First, we're going to do sit. So the verbal as well as the hand signal, sit. So I'm going to encourage her to get up first, and then I'm going to turn towards her and ask her to sit. Bella, sit. Good. Okay. So if she sits the first time, just praise her, either a good girl, a little pat on the head for sit. If she weren't to do it, first you're going to tell her, ah. So that's our verbal reprimand, that's her warning. If another 1 or 2 seconds, if she still doesn't fix herself and sit or do what you've asked, then the correction with the leash and the prong collar is going to look like this. It's going to be a pop and release motion straight up between her ears. You can repeat the correction until she sits, then stop correcting and make sure you praise her. Even if you've had to correct her, you want to make sure you praise her when she does comply. And Bella's a fairly soft dog, so she does not need much pressure with the leash. Just that nag is just her reminder, like, hey, I told you to sit, and this is going to stop as soon as you sit. And then you get some praise. Okay. For down, which means belly on the ground, hand signal is going to be palm towards the ground. So again, I'm going to face her. Usually it's easier for her if she's in a sit already, so go ahead and put her in a sit. And then I'm going to face her down. Good. Okay. So again, same routine. You're going to ask her the command. She does it the first time. Praise her. Tell her that she's done a good job. If she doesn't, first you give her that verbal reminder that she still doesn't down after that. The correction with the leash is going to be a pop and release, 45-degree angle, just nagging her towards the ground until she lays down. Then make sure you praise her when she's all the way down. Okay, you're for a place, which is going to be any designated area that you want her to go on. So a dog bed is perfect. It could be a bath mat, just something visual for her. As long as all 4 paws are on it, she's good. Normally I will tell her to lay down because she's much more comfortable in a down. She's much more likely to hold it for a longer period of time. So I'll usually tell her place and then just remind her to lay down. just so she's settled, she's comfortable. And then I'm going to enforce the stay command, which is telling her, of course, to hold her position. So the hand signal for place is going to be a swooping motion with your hand or your fingers just over the place bed, letting her know that this is the area I want you to go on. And then for the stay command, it's going to be like a stop sign towards her mother. Bella, Bella, place. Good girl. Down. Good job. Stay. So with the place command, if she doesn't get on it, just kind of nag with the leash towards the place bed. And then for stay, when you tell her to stay, whether it's in a sit, a down, or a place position, you want to monitor her when you put her in a stay, because if she were to break it, no, she's too good. If she were to break it, you want to make sure you bring her back to where you originally had her, put her back in that position, remind her to stay, and then kind of reset. Make sure she holds it till you go back and give her that release word back. Okay, okay, good girl. And of course, if she chooses to hold the stay after you've said okay, no need for correction. If you wanted her to do something next, you would go into whatever you wanted to do next. But if she wants to chill, that's perfectly fine. For the leave it command, that's going to be anytime she gets fixated on something else and you want her to return her focus back to you. So I can demonstrate with some treats. You want to make sure if you're practicing with treats or toys that you don't let her have what you tell her to leave. So you want to throw it on the ground. When she looks at it, you tell her to leave it, and then you're waiting for her to return focus back to you before you praise or reward her with a separate treat. Leave it. Good. And as soon as she looked back up at me, I gave her that praise. Leave it. Good. Okay. Just to encourage that eye contact at the end, if you bring your finger quickly up to your face, get her to look at you, then make sure you praise her, tell her, good girl, Bella. Let her know that that is a good behavior. You want more eye contact. It's a really important sign of respect from her. Shows that she's checking in with you and waiting for your next command. And then, of course, for the drop it command, we like to play drop it, swap it. So if she has two toys of similar value, like two tennis balls at home, throw one, let her have it in her mouth, show her that other toy, tell her to drop it. As soon as she drops the first one, you throw the second toy. So it's going to be like an ongoing game for her, and it's showing her that if she drops something, she's going to get something in return. So it's that fun game, and she's realizing there's some payoff for dropping her prized possession. And then for the healing, so the command for that is going to be let's go, along with the visual signal, which is going to be a pat to your left leg. So she's been taught to heal on the left hand side. And then the correction for that, if she were, after you lead off with let's go, good girl. After you lead off with let's go, if she chooses to forge out in front or a little to the side, you're just going to correct in what direction you want her to return to. So if she's out far in front, you're going to pop and release back towards your hip, as well as if she's out too far to the side, pop and release towards your hip, nag until she's back with you, then make sure the leash goes slack. Any tension in that leash is going to be a correction in her mind. So nice slack leash when she's where she needs to be. Make sure you praise her when she comes back into position. Possibly use treats in the beginning when you first take her home, just to keep her engaged with you, because there is a lot of distractions outside, especially for a young dog. And then if she's really getting distracted, we're going to do what's called a 180-degree correction. So that's where you're walking forward, she might be distracted by something in front of you or starting to pull a little bit, and you're going to quickly pivot and make a 180-degree turn. And that leash is going to do almost all your work for you in correcting her, and and she's going to be caused to be much more focused on you, because she's not going to want to miss you turning next time. She's going to want to stay with you, avoid that correction, and make sure you give her lots of praise when she does return to your side. So we'll do a little healing right now. You ready? Let's go. Good girl. Good. And I'm just going to use that leash and a little bit of pressure if she were to leave this position. Good girl. And if she's not turning, you kind of nudge her with your leg. And then when you come to a stop, there you go. Okay. She's expected to sit next to you. If she's distracted and forgets to sit, you first give her that and then a little bit of leash pressure straight up if she still hasn't sat. Remember, that correction is going to be straight up with the leash for sit, and then make sure you praise her when she does. Want to do that again? Let's go. Good girl. I'm gonna show you what the 180-degree correction is. So she's forging out. Turn. Good girl. And little nags as you turn. Good. There you go. Good girl. That girl, good job. So you can see it causes her to be a little more engaged with you, and you can repeat that a few times like I just did until you have her focus again, and then proceed on your walk, because sometimes going for a long mile walk doesn't seem like much to us, but it becomes really monotonous for the dogs, especially if you're making it into a good structured walk. It's a great time for training. So keep her next to you, keep her engaged with you, come to random stops, get her to sit, do random turns, keep her focused on you, so keep it fun for her instead of just straight and narrow path. And then the off command is going to be if she's jumping up. We're also going to give her a downward leash correction. So if she were to jump up on me, you want to tell her off, and then pop and release with the leash towards the ground, back where you want her to be. And then we want to replace the bad behavior, the jumping, with a good behavior, a sit. So when she goes to jump up, correct her if you have the leash on, and then ask her to sit. And then praise her, because you're teaching her that jumping up, it's not going to get you what you want, but when you sit, you're going to get lots of praise, lots of attention. So same thing for anyone that she comes in contact with. Make sure to correct if necessary, and that she needs to sit before she gets any attention. Okay. Hi again. So now I'm going to show you how to use the e-collar for her off-leash recall. So coming with collar when she's off-leash. So it's really important that you put this on her daily. Even if you're not going to use it per se, you want to keep it on her, just so she realizes that you always have the ability to correct her if you need to. Because if she goes out and you start calling her to come, but you haven't put the collar on, and then she was very distracted by something and she didn't want to come, and you've lost that opportunity to correct her, now she's going to try to get away with it more often. So put it on her during playtime, just normal time of the day. It can stay on her most of the day when you're there to supervise, of course. If you're going to leave her at home unsupervised, take it off, as well as the palm collar. But this is very important for her. You don't want to miss the opportunity again to correct if you need to. So put this on her when you first get up, when you're first starting training for the day. This box part is going to sit up high on her neck. It can go right under either of her ears. You don't want to put it in the front or the back. It's going to make much better contact on either side. And then it is important that it is snug enough on her that both of these metal prongs on the tips are making contact with her skin. If they're not making good contact, she will not get a good correction, and this is useless at that point. So very important to fit it to her snugly. You don't want this maneuvering too much on her neck, but still, of course, loose enough that you can fit a finger or two between her fur and the collar. It's not choking her in any way. Just up nice and high under her ear, good snug contact, and then, of course, turning it on. You're going to want to do that before you put it on her. You're going to line up the red magnet that's on the remote with the red magnet that's on the collar until the green light shows up on the collar. That'll blink green intermittently to let you know it's fully charged. It'll start blinking like a yellow color when it needs to be charged. But you can treat this like a cell phone. Put it on her during the day, put it on the charger at night. Little charging ports are right here, one on the collar by the prongs, and then one on the remote right here in the back, little rubber port, flap. Same size jack for both. And then turning on the remote, you're going to want to hold the big on-off switch in the back. Just hold that for about 3 seconds until the front light comes on. Stay. And then it'll come up with her number. It's currently at about a 20, which is about her working number, so you'll need to make sure she's responding to it when you go home. Don't be afraid to turn it up a little. It goes all the way up to 100, so 20 is relatively low. 20 is her number in a normal training session around here. Now again, she has not trained at your house yet, so there's different distractions she has not been exposed to. So again, if you need a little bit more stimulation to get her attention, do not be afraid. It's not going to hurt her. This is just used to get her attention when she's really distracted. Also important to note, any new locations you go to, your house for example, you're going to want to start on leash. just because you want to make sure, one, that this is making good contact, she's responding well to it, she understands what it means before you go ahead and take it completely off leash, because there are some dangers with that. You know, there's no perfect recall, so you want to make sure, again, new locations, new distractions, so you want to get her exposed to new things on leash, safety of having a leash on first, and then at your discretion, we'll just take her off leash. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on her right now, you know, let her up off the place, so the prong collar can sit down lower, and then this will go up higher. Okay, and I'll usually put her in a sit, just so she's calm. Bella, sit, good. So this can go away, and I like to use my left hand and put it under her right ear, so I'll kind of go ahead and strap it and put it through, and then I'll hold the box here under her ear and kind of wiggle it down to her skin, just so it's making good contact under her throat, or making good contact under her ear rather, and then go ahead and tighten it. You know, it's a little loose. When you pull it up under her ear, it gets thinner, so it gets looser, so just make sure you adjust accordingly. Again, check that it's not too tight on her, it's not hurting her in any way, but the box, the prongs are not making, they're not moving too much. Who's that? Treasure? Good girl. Bella! Leave it. Good. Sit. There's a puppy out there. She's distracted. Good girl. So that's a technique you can use when she gets distracted by something, is body block. So put yourself in front of her. Leave it. Good. And then encourage that eye contact. Encourage her to look back at you, and make sure you give her lots of praise when she does. Bella. Sit. Good girl. Okay, so now for using the e-collar, so the steps are going to be, we're going to start on leash, remember, first. So you're going to call her to come. We always use her name first. Her name should get her attention, and then you follow that with the word come, as well as an outstretched arm in towards your body. So it's going to be Bella, come. Nice and loud, animated, especially if she's off leash, a little distance away from you. You are competing with every other distraction that's around. So be exciting, make her want to come to you. I would definitely use treats in the beginning. That's a big motivator for her. So keep her excited to come to you. Also, great time to practice the come command is when you're going to feed her breakfast or dinner, or playtime. So there's always going to be a really big payoff for her. You don't want to call her to come when you have to trim her nails. Bella, Bella, come. Good girl. When you have to do something that she might not like trim her nails or give her a bath, you only want to try to call her to come when it's something good for her. And at least for right now. Of course, this will come in handy when you really need her to come in a possibly dangerous situation, but for right now, when she's getting used to hearing you guys give her the command and doing it consistently, you want her to hear Bella, come, and be really excited to come to you. You don't want her to have that second thought like, last time I went to mom, you know, not a great payoff for me. So really good things in the beginning for right now. Have that e-collar on when you go to practice, and we're going to start on leash. So again, we're going to call her Bella, come, out in towards your body. Good girl. Bella, sit. Good girl. And then the recall, when you call her to come, she needs to sit right in front of you before you give her any treats, any praise. So I'm going to have her on leash. We'll start on a 6 foot, and then we're going to work up to a little longer leash, ideally, before we take her off. So be ready to correct if you need to. Be ready, nice and loud. Bella, come. Good girl. There you go. Good job. Okay. So of course, if she comes the first time you call her, no need for a correction. If you call her to come and she's now turning her head, starting to come towards you in about 1 to 2 seconds, then you're going to press the black S button. So that's a momentary static stimulation. So that's what she's used to at the number 20. So you're just going to tap that. You can tap it once. If she's not responding, you can tap it again. So that means she's distracted by something, because you want to make sure you're making good contact before you go ahead and start giving her commands. You can check that it's making contact. You're going to look for a little twitch in her skin or a little head turn from her. Good girl. You can see it right there. I just pressed the button. I'll do it one more time. Good girl. You can see she looked at me. She's like, what? What'd I do? It's okay. Good girl. And you can see the little twitch in her ear when it's right under her ear. So that's a good placement for it. So you want to make sure you're making good contact before you start working with her. All right, so we're going to do that again. Let her get a little distracted. That's perfect. Bella, come. Beautiful. Girl, hey. Bella, come. Good. That's a girl. You can correct her if she either loses focus on her way to you or she tries to pull that little turnaround, be cutesy. Correct her for not sitting as well. Remember that recall is only complete when she's come to you and sat right in front of you.